have some very big news this week, my friend. Oh my goodness. We're going to start off What's Up in Makeup this week with the lawsuit with Olaplex. So much going on there. If you've ever used Olaplex products, they're hair products that are extremely popular, usually recommended by salons, but they are being sued right now. We're going to go all into the details of what's happening with that lawsuit. We also, of course, have a Forma update of what's happening with Forma's bankruptcy. Not as big of an update this week, but I do have a couple things I want to share with you, including a new player, a new name that we haven't heard very much about. We made some connections, so I will share those with you. And huge news happening in the beauty subscription box realm. Ipsy and BoxyCharm are fully merging subscriptions. We're going to go into the details of how all of that is working. And then when we get into the product report, we have a very controversial launch over at Ulta that some people are very upset about. So if you are interested in all of that, hang tight. We are getting into that and so much more right now. Hello, my friend. Welcome back to What's Up in Makeup, where we talk about everything that is happening and huge news in the beauty space right now. We're going to start this week with Olaplex, the lawsuit that is happening now. Oh my gosh, people are really losing their minds over it because Olaplex has been such a strong company in the hair space for so long. It is often recommended by salon professionals to help people with hair damage, usually by bleaching, dyeing, styling products, things like that. People that have fried, frizzy hair. Olaplex, for some people, has been able to really help people to fix that damaged hair. It's one of the few products that actually can go in and repair some of the damage. So people were shocked to hear that there was a lawsuit with people claiming that Olaplex was not as good as it was claiming to be, and also beyond that, causing significant damage to some people's hair. Now, this particular lawsuit is 28 women who are suing Olaplex. It is not a class action lawsuit. It is a damages lawsuit. They allege that Olaplex's products are not safe for people with dry and or damaged hair, and that the advertising that they are scientifically proven, free from harsh chemicals, and safe for all hair are false. The suit names Olaplex numbers 0 through 9, which I believe is their entire range. They say that the company knowingly put a harmful fragrance in their Olaplex number 3 product. It has since been removed because it was actually going to be pulled from EU shelves if they didn't remove this particular ingredient. And just as an abundance of caution, they removed it from all of their products, this particular fragrance ingredient. It is called Liliol, and it is usually naturally derived from chamomile. It can also be artificially made. And they say, according to them, it is a known sensitizer and allergen linked to infertility. So that can be really, really scary to hear those kinds of things as a consumer. They also take issue with the ingredient panthenol for allegedly being an allergen and an irritant, and they say it can, quote, cause allergic contact dermatitis, hair loss, and scalp injuries. This one really caught me off guard. They said that there's a combination of ingredients in a lot of their products that when you put them together, they chemically react to create benzene, which is a known carcinogen. And it just goes on and on. They try to nail them on these non-water soluble substances, which is probably silicone. They say that they could cause inflamed hair follicles and other known skin irritants and sensitizers. But then they go even further. I mean, they are just nailing every single thing. And they talk about their advertisements, and they say, I don't know how they know this, they say that the people, the celebrities and the people that are shown in these Olaplex advertisements don't actually use Olaplex, which is like, how do you know? And then also that the people are, the only reason why their hair looks good essentially is because they're styled by a professional stylist and not because the Olaplex products are actually doing anything good. And I was thinking to myself, as I was reading this, I was like, I have literally never seen anybody complain about Olaplex products. Like, I've only ever heard good things. The only thing I've heard negative is that they're overpriced and that there are other products that may do very similar things to what they can do that are less expensive, but never anything about hair damaging. And what they claim the reason for that is that they had failed to disclose and actively conceal thousands of complaints it has received of hair loss, scalp issues, and other injuries from customers. What? So Olaplex, in response to this, did do a partial recall. So essentially, if you ever bought an Olaplex product, if you even have an empty bottle of Olaplex and you want to return it, they will give you a full refund, no questions asked. But the lawsuit is like, no, that is not good enough. You need to pull everything from the shelves, reformulate, and then go back on the shelves. Now, the people over at Olaplex are very upset, obviously, because they feel like their product is being trashed and that it is not real. Like all of the complaints, like that they're all ridiculous. So the CEO, her name is Jui Wong, and she put out a video on Instagram.
Hi everyone, my name is Jui Wong and I'm the CEO at Olaplex. I'm here today to address some misinformation about our brand, which I know is stressful and concerning for our customers. You may have recently heard that Olaplex products cause hair loss. This is a painful and emotional topic. However, for our products, this is not true. Olaplex products do not cause hair loss or hair breakage. Our patented products are designed to relink broken disulfide hair bonds, not cause hair damage. We have released the test results from independent third-party laboratories so that you can see this for yourself. Let's discuss this test. We use industry-standard human repeat insult patch test, HRIPT, which are human clinical tests to ensure that each of our products does not cause skin irritation, inflammation, or sensitivity. If a product passes an HRIPT test, that means it was not shown to cause sensitivity or inflammation to the skin, including the hair follicle, which is the primary cause of hair loss. We have publicly released the HRIPT test results for all of our products. Every one of Olaplex products has this HRIPT test. But that's not all. We went above and beyond this and also released the results of HRIPT tests conducted on sensitive skin for several product lines. Again, Olaplex products pass this test. If this was not the case, I would not be making this video today. I believe in the safety and efficacy of our products and want to reassure all of our customers and fans they can continue to use our products with confidence. For more information, please visit our website. Thank you.
So now that you know what is happening with the lawsuit, let's talk about the other side of it. And one of the people that is talking about the possible problems with this lawsuit is Dr. Dre. If you're not familiar with her, she is a board-certified dermatologist. She's very popular here on YouTube in the skincare space, but she also speaks on makeup and she also speaks on hair products occasionally. And she put out a fantastic video with her opinions on it. And she kind of goes point by point and almost debunks all of them and says, you know, it may not be what it appears, but she's also very, very careful to say that she is not these women's doctors. She has not seen the actual effects. She does not know exactly what happened to them or why it happened, and that their concerns should be taken seriously. But at the same time, we need to understand that the claims that they're making may also be complete bullshit. Andrea mentions in the video the connection of correlation does not necessarily mean causation, and she mentions COVID specifically, that Olaplex got very, very popular during COVID, and one of the side effects of having COVID, I don't know if you call it a side effect, but one of the things that can happen up to 3 months after having COVID is that you can have hair loss. So people may have used Olaplex because it was advertised to them while they were in lockdown, gotten COVID, used the Olaplex, and then a few months after having COVID saw these problems with their hair and blamed the Olaplex instead of the COVID because it didn't seem like it was connected. She also is very strong on the dose that makes the poison argument with a lot of these ingredients, like the potential benzene contamination, like the fragrance ingredient. She said, you know, this fragrance ingredient is used in so many products and it's used in such a small concentration. And then along with that, with the benzene, I personally, like the way that I feel, whenever there's benzene contamination in a product, usually it is scientifically tested, and I didn't see that they scientifically tested these Olaplex products for benzene contamination. So I don't think it's fair to put that in the lawsuit without testing the product to see if it actually had benzene contamination. You know what I'm saying? So I tend to lean toward that this isn't real, but I also want to recognize that I have used Olaplex products myself. I've used them on my son who has bleached hair. We have both had wonderful results with Olaplex, and that is my perspective is that it does great things. But if I was on the other end, which a lot of people seem to be, if you read the comments on Instagram, a lot of people seem to say that it's damaged their hair. If I was on that side, of course I would be on the side of the 28 people filing this lawsuit, right? So I don't feel like it's fair for me to say, no, Olaplex is great, it's great for everybody, just because I had a positive experience with it, you know what I'm saying? So really, we are never going to know whether the Olaplex actually did this to these women's hair. We just won't know. All we can do is follow this lawsuit and see what happens next. And of course, I will be doing that. I don't know how long it's going to take for this to play out. It could take years, it could take months. We don't know, but I will definitely keep you updated, so make sure you're subscribed. If you did not know, back at the beginning stages of my YouTube channel, I was actually a subscription box unboxing channel. I got the second BoxyCharm of all time sent to me in PR. I was one of their very first influencers, if not the first influencer to ever get BoxyCharm. I bought Ipsy as a subscription back in December of their very first year. I think it was their third bag I started purchasing it, along with, I was a huge person involved with Birchbox and a bunch of other subscriptions. I'm not even going to go into all of them I did, but I did a lot of them. So whenever anything happens in the beauty subscription box space, my ears perk up and I get very interested in what's happening. Back in October of 2020, Ipsy actually acquired and they became one conglomerate, and that conglomerate is called BFA Industries, or Beauty for All. And Joe from BoxyCharm still worked for them and everything. I'm pretty sure he still works for them, but they all went under the Ipsy umbrella. However, they were still separate entities. BoxyCharm was at BoxyCharm.com, Ipsy was at Ipsy.com, and that is now going to be no more starting in March. They are both merging under the Ipsy umbrella. Wow. So big question is why are they doing this? And the big reason that they're giving is streamlining, that it was just too many things to manage, that Ipsy had a bunch of subscriptions, BoxyCharm had a bunch of subscriptions, and it was just too much. So they're bringing them together. The best way I know how to describe this is imagine the Ipsy website and BoxyCharm is just kind of merging into it and becoming a part of Ipsy. So there will no longer be a BoxyCharm website. What's going to happen is on the Ipsy website, you'll be able to get the glam bag, which is the deluxe size sample subscription. That one is $13 a month. Then you'll be able to get a slightly bigger box, which is BoxyCharm by Ipsy. Okay, that's the full-size version. That one is $27.99 with the full-size products. Third option is the curated box called the Icon box. That is $58 and that comes quarterly. So that's the first major piece, but the Icon box is really weird how it works. So I want to explain that as a separate piece. So the Icon box is $58, right? But you can't buy it. Like if you're not an Ipsy or a BoxyCharm, well, an Ipsy subscriber now, because you would either get the glam bag or the BoxyCharm by Ipsy. If you don't subscribe to either one of those, you can't just buy it for $58. So let's say it's March or whatever, and there's an Icon box coming out, and you're subscribed to the BoxyCharm by Ipsy, right? That is a $28 subscription. So if you opt into it, then you will get the Icon box instead of your BoxyCharm, and you will pay an upcharge of $30, which is the difference between the two prices there. It's the same thing with the Ipsy glam bag. So the difference between an Ipsy glam bag price and the Icon box price is $45. So you're going to pay that. You won't get your glam bag. If you decide you don't want the Icon box, you just get your Ipsy glam bag or your BoxyCharm by Ipsy as normal. Hopefully that makes sense. It's a little bit confusing. The article that I read in Glossy had a significant portion of it talking about their influencer marketing strategies and how that's going to change for Ipsy and BoxyCharm now that there really won't be a BoxyCharm anymore. The article stated about BoxyCharm, quote, though it formerly maintained a separate influencer marketing strategy, it will shift to work off the Ipsy marketing playbook. And I was like, what the world does that mean? And eventually they get to it. So apparently BoxyCharm's previous influencer marketing was like one-off partnerships. That was what we did. BoxyCharm contacted me. They say, hey, do you want to do a sponsorship for one box? I was like, yeah, sure. And we did that. And then it was over. That was the end of it. But what Ipsy's been trying to do is really do more long-term partnerships with people. Apparently 80% of the budget of Ipsy was toward Instagram and Facebook, 10% was TikTok, and 10% on other social media channels like YouTube. But they're really excited about TikTok, and I'm going to interpret this as somebody that has done this for a while. The reason why they're excited about TikTok, it seems, is that you can give somebody, because of the algorithm, somebody that has a smaller following, and if it hits the algorithm just right, that you can get a lot of views on that video without having to pay those large influencer prices. So you could just give somebody a box for free. That video could take off because it hits the algorithm right, and you're getting tons and tons of essentially free advertising. So they seem like they really want to start investing more in TikTok. They also want to continue gifting subscriptions to influencers. So right now they said they're looking at 3,500 content creators who basically they don't get paid, but they're expected to post. They can post anywhere they want. They can post whatever they want. They just have to post something. And then about every 3 months, it's reevaluated who's participating, who's not participating. And in my experience, people not participating the way that they want them to participate get kicked off, and then they replace them with new people. But what they do say they're going to do with this pool of 3,500 creators is that they're going to pull from that pool for paid opportunities. So we'll have to see how that shakes out. I would imagine the vast majority of the 3,500 people will never get paid. They're just getting a free box. And it's up to that individual person whether that's enough for their time and their energy to just get paid in product. For some people, that's enough. For other people, it's not. You just kind of have to decide. I lean toward not. But if the person was planning on buying it and sharing it anyway, then why not get it for free, right? One of the things that I was really sad to see was not on there was no mention of the Ipsy Live events that Michelle Phan had created that were huge back before the pandemic. I went to so many of them, got to meet so many of you with these events. It was not just for creators. They had special things for creators, but it was for the general public, and you got to get free samples from booth brands, and you got to try out products, buy things at a discount, stuff like that. They were really cool events. Sometimes they had fun games, and I don't know, it was just really fun, but there's no mention of bringing that back, which made me kind of sad. I mean, I get it, because they were probably a pain in the butt to do, but I'm sad I didn't see any mention of those. But back to the customer perspective, I do want to point you toward a video that really breaks down the changes super, super well. Her name is Yari G on YouTube. It's going to be linked down below, and she goes into depth about all of the different changes, how they affect you if you have this subscription, about add-ons and all of the different perks and how things are changing. I highly recommend you go watch her video if you're curious about a more in-depth deep dive into this topic. As always, all the links to my article resources and videos that I mention are in the description box down below.
I feel so bad about this one, my friend, because I hyped us up. I hyped us all up about this past Thursday. It was going to be this big court hearing with Forma, and we were going to hear from Oxygen Development. We were going to hear from Jaclyn Hill's lawyers. Wah, wah, wah. That got postponed to March 21st, which I'm really sad about because I was really curious to know, like right now, because I'm super nosy, like what was going to happen with that, but it's getting postponed. They did, however, have a hearing. Ariana Grande's acquisition of the rights to REM Beauty, that was addressed, and that is moving forward very nicely. That should be formally finalized on March 21st as well. That's going to be probably the next big day when we talk about stuff with Forma. But beyond that, a lot of it wasn't really stuff that pertains to our interests here in the beauty space, so I'm not going to bore you with it. But what I do want to share with you that I found interesting was something that was just filed in paperwork that was just kind of thrown into some documents that I thought was fascinating because I had a question, and now that question is answered. And I'm very excited to share it with you because, again, I think it's interesting. We had a company called DLGIH that was mentioned earlier, like in January, and I was like, it says this name that sounds like just a bunch of random letters put together for an LLC, and I don't know who this is, but they were trying to come out with some kind of cosmetic called Interverse, and it was like they were involved somehow, but I didn't know how. And it turns out that we know who it is. We know who owns this trademark, and it's Demi freaking Lovato. DLIGIH. Still don't know what GIH is. I'm assuming I is Interverse, but I don't know. But it's Demi freaking Lovato. So DLGIH is listed under executory contract. And of course I had to look that up, figure out what it meant. So basically what it means is that Forma said that they would do some stuff. And Demi Lovato said that they would do some stuff. And that stuff has not been done. And if they don't do the stuff, then it's a breach of contract. And they had that listed as something happening in this particular lawsuit because they want to make sure all the bases are covered, all the I's are dotted, T's are crossed, all of that.
So it looks like there was a signed contract between these two parties, but Demi Lovato was not listed as any kind of person that is owed money. So I guess it just didn't get that far, which is great for Demi. Good for them. I also found it interesting that there were some other names listed with this in this contract thing, that they had these open contracts. A bunch of companies associated with Ariana Grande, of course, Jaclyn Hill, Charlie D'Amelio's IPCO Brands LLC was listed on there. But there was a weird thing, and I'll tell you if I don't understand something, and this is something I don't understand, but I want to mention it because I feel like this might be like one of the pieces in the puzzle that'll show the full picture one day. So I wanted to mention it. Next to Jaclyn's name, it says in parentheses, Jaclyn Cosmetics LLC and Meta Brands LLC. And I was like, okay, I know what Jaclyn Cosmetics LLC is, but what the heck is Meta Brands? And when I looked it up, Meta Brands is actually listed for two completely different purposes, and that can happen with names with two purposes. One of them is a drink company, so they make like different kinds of drinks. I don't know, not alcoholic drinks, like sodas and stuff. The other one is a company that makes NFTs. So, was Jaclyn gonna make sodas or NFTs? I don't know if we'll ever know, but it looks like she was trying to make at least one of those things. Which one do you think it might be? I'm leaning more towards she was going for an NFT. I'm glad that didn't work out. I'm so glad. That's just my opinion from my space and my, I don't own any NFTs. If you own NFTs, you'll probably feel a little differently about it. But yeah, I just thought it was interesting. So we'll see whether that turns into anything or not. I just figured I would mention it. So there's no proof that she was starting an NFT. Just to be clear, there's no proof of that. We just know that somehow she's involved with a company called Meta Brands. And that could be sodas or NFTs. That's all we know. I know this is a longer top news segment, but I have other things I want to share with you, and I could not let them go. So we've got a few news bites for you. These are just shorter stories on things that I thought were important. So Cosmetics Europe has unveiled an ingredient database for your European customers. And for ingredient geeks like me, if you're an ingredient geek, this is amazing. This particular database was created specifically for consumers, and it is called Cosmile Europe, and it's currently available in 14 languages and provides information on almost 30,000 ingredients used in cosmetics. And if you are not familiar, the European Union has much better regulations as far as how often they update them versus the FDA here in the US. They are constantly updating them, where the FDA is just kind of like, meh, this was updated 25 years ago, but we don't really have time or money to take care of that. So I personally like looking at EU regulations. So this is probably going to be a great resource because you can access it anywhere in the world. You don't have to be in Europe to access it. It's a search engine, and it gives information like ingredient properties, function, whether they're man-made or of natural origin, and which types of products that they're used in. So I'm very excited about that. I can't wait to kind of dip in there and see what's in there. I've got it on my bookmarks bar to kind of see if it matches up with all the other sources that I've been using over the years and whether I can get even more information about ingredients there. Now, the second news bite has to do with Revlon and how they're actually looking to possibly exit bankruptcy, which would be amazing. I think there's a misconception that when a company declares bankruptcy, that means they're going out of business, the end. Absolutely not the case. It's Chapter 11 is just a restructuring. So they have reached a deal with their creditors on a restructuring plan where, if approved, it will cut its current $3.7 billion debt by $2.7 billion. But they need to pay off the remaining, this is the key of it, they need to pay off the remaining balance by April of 2023 to officially exit bankruptcy. That is really, really soon. So the big turn of this and what's really helped them was the restructuring that they did when they got acquired by lenders in December of 2022. And that wiped out all of the business shareholders. And it also gave the boot to Ron Perlman, who has been the owner of Revlon since the 1980s. Perlman, I never know how to pronounce his last name. It's something like that. But even if they manage to escape bankruptcy, they are jumping right into the lion's den of the cosmetic industry right now. It is nuts out there. Besides the competition, supply chain issues, all of that, Revlon is never been good at influencer marketing. And that's something that is very popular and getting a lot of sales for a lot of companies right now. So they're going to have to deal with that. I mean, it's a lot, and they still may not survive. So we'll just have to keep an eye on it. Again, I'm rooting for Revlon. I hope that they make it. Big reality check for cruelty-free consumers here with a new class action lawsuit against John Paul Mitchell Systems. The thing is cruelty-free is not a regulated term. So in order to be PETA certified, all you need to do is be like, hey, PETA, I'm cruelty free. And they're like, cool, here's a bunny to put on your stuff. And they're like, cool. And that's all you really need to do to be PETA certified cruelty free. And what's happening here is that there is apparently, according to this lawsuit, evidence that this company was selling in China and paying to have their products tested on animals while also touting themselves as being this hero, this pioneer of cruelty-free hair care. The claim cites the dates between May of 2015 to May of 2021 of when all of this was happening. But I'm going to link the article down below for you if you want to see all the evidence that they're presenting. And just because there's a lawsuit doesn't mean that they're guilty of it. But I'm going to keep my eye on this one as well, because that's just straight up cruddy. And I wonder how many companies are getting away with this. Like, not to say that they're getting away with it, but it looks kind of like they might have been getting away with it. Cruelty-free just really needs to be regulated, just like natural and organic and all those things, all these clean, all these things that companies just throw out as marketing, when really there's nobody keeping an eye except for Cruelty Free International making sure that this is happening. But to end top news on a happy note, well, sort of happy for Hermes employees. So Hermes apparently is doing so incredibly well that they are sharing some of the profits with their employees. They are set to pay a one-time bonus of 4,000 euros to each of their 19,700 employees following a Q4 sales rise of 23% year over year. So that's an equivalent of $4,200 USD per employee, or $5,700 Canadian, 3,500 pounds, or $6,300 Australian. So, we've been talking about the markup of cosmetics. We talked about the Jaclyn Hill lipstick bullet, the formula inside the little bullet only being 90 some cents or whatever. I can't even imagine the markup on these Hermes products, because they're paying thousands, sometimes tens of thousands of dollars per product. So I think it's nice that they're sharing some of that with employees. I guess it's like, we got so much money, we might as well give it to our employees because we're just swimming in it. But don't feel bad for the investors. Don't feel bad for the investors, because Hermes is going to pay approximately 1.4 billion euros to the investors through a dividend of 13 euros per share. So everybody's making the money at Hermes. You get 1,000 euros, you get 1,000 euros, you get 1,000 euros, and people get their, insanely marked up products from Hermes. I guess everybody wins. All right, my friend, are you ready for the product report? I have lots to share with you. This is probably the cutest thing, the coolest artwork that I have seen this week. This is Unearthly Cosmetics Not in the Mood water liner palette. Look how cute this freaking thing is. All right, it's going to be available on Monday, so tomorrow our time, at 12 p.m. EST. It is $30. This just looks like fun, like for the right person. This just looks like joy in a palette. I love that. I freaking love that. Indie brands crushing it. Next up, I wanted to share with you the Tarte Shape Tape color correctors. They've officially launched on Tarte's website. There's 9 shades for different complexions, different purposes, all of that. They actually do a really nice job of explaining what each product does and who it's for. Tarte's really upped their game as far as trying to help customers to know what they need and why they need it. They're $30 each. Over at Sephora, Ami Collet has a new product. This is the Desert Date Cream Blush and Lip Multi-Stick. It is $22. Does come in 4 shades. They call it a buildable soft matte cream multi-stick that gives cheeks and lips an effortless blurred tint. I think we're going to see even more and more and more of these multi-use products. I think that's going to be the next trend, is the whole multi-use thing. We're already seeing it with skincare and makeup they're trying to make it multi-use, stuff like that. So I think we're going to see more of this in the next few months through the rest of 2023. Of course, some brands have been doing it forever, but I think some of these brands that have never done it, we're going to start seeing more of it. Speaking of that, Dominique Cosmetics. This is the Essential Eyeshadow Palette. It's $49. Color story is pretty typical, but I like that she went like the mauve kind of route with it. But what's special about this, according to her in the video, is that she made the pan specifically so that you could put a face brush in it. So you can use this for cheeks or bronzer or blush or whatever, highlight, whatever you want. I think that's nice. I think it's smart. I'm glad that she did it like that. Hopefully more brands will follow that, because I think that's, you know, instead of coming out with a face palette, come out with an eye palette that can also be used as a face palette, right? These next products, I'm not sure about this. So the first one makes more sense. This is the Tom Ford Rose Prick Lip Color Satin Matte. $60 each. There's 2 shades available. They call it a high pigment color with rose-like textures that leave lips gorgeously plump looking. I mean, like, I was expecting it to almost look like a blotted lip from ColourPop, but it doesn't. It just looks like a lipstick. Like, okay, it's a lipstick. It's a $60 lipstick. Okay, cool. The packaging's kind of cute, but then they take it a little too far, in my opinion. These are the Tom Ford Rose Prick Eye Color Cream Eyeshadow Quads. They're $90 each. There's 2 different color options available, and it's like, how is this rose prick? Like, I was thinking like lip stain. Like, these don't look anything like roses. Like, what is even happening? They're just natural palettes in like a light pink package. It's weird. It's a weird choice. The 2 reviews that are in right now say that these are chalky as hell. So yeah, I'm going to be passing on those. Not like I would have bought them if they had good reviews anyway, but I just think that's a weird choice. That's very odd. Coming soon to Sephora, we have some complexion products. First from Valentino, the Very Valentino 24-Hour Wear Hydrating Concealer, $35, 20 shades available. The shade range, again, we've talked about this in the past, is like when you have to see a little swatch on the side, they're all mixed up and it's really confusing. But what they have over there that actually is nice is they do have some of the model face charty looking things, not a face chart, but they show the models that would match each shade. But what I find odd about Valentino's particular models that they chose, or maybe it's just the saturation of the photos or whatever, but they don't seem to be that different in complexion. Like, they seem like all the models in the photo, like they don't really look that different. So I'm not really sure about this. I don't find that to be super helpful as a consumer. But maybe it's just my eyes. Maybe I just can't see it. Maybe you can see it. I can't see it. But anyway, regarding the formula, it is a multi-use creamy lightweight concealer that delivers medium coverage and brightens skin radiance for a creaseless finish that lasts all day. So it sounds like a concealer. It doesn't seem like it's that overpriced at $35. I don't feel like that's an outrageous price for like a luxury concealer. Along the same lines, we have the Givenchy Prisme Libre Skin Caring 24-Hour Hydrating Plus Radiant Plus Correcting Creamy Concealer. This is $37, comes in 24 shades. And honestly, I feel like they do such a better job helping people find their shade. Swatches are in order. You can see that there's a really nice gradient. There's 6 different levels of depth, which I think is really helpful. But the description of it still sounds like a concealer. It is they say a revolutionary hydrating 24-hour wear concealer formulated with 95% natural origin ingredient that conceals, corrects, and cares for skin. So maybe it has more skincare ingredients in it. Maybe that's the hook on this one. The Valentino one didn't have a specific launch date, but for the Givenchy one, the app first access is on the 27th of February, and then it is available to everyone on the 28th. I know you were waiting with bated breath because you saw the people going on the Tarte brand trip and you were like, oh, they are promoting this product so much. They're so excited about this Maracuja foundation-y stuff, and it makes me really, really want it, said no one ever. But if for some reason I'm wrong and it was you saying that, it's finally launching at Sephora. This is the Maracuja Juicy Glow Skin Tint in both full and mini sizes. The full size is $40. It does come in 24 shades, and then the mini is $16. It does come in 6 shades. And the shade range, Tarte has come so far. They really have. They've made some huge mistakes in the past, but they've come really far as their shade range. It really looks like a nice gradient. I also love the diversity. We have people who look like real people as the models, and I love that. As far as this piece I like. This piece, I think they did a good job. Let's not talk about the Dubai trip because we already talked about that and how I felt about that.
Let's move over to Ulta. So we have a new formula of MAC lip product. This is the MAC Locked Kiss Ink Lipstick. It is now at Ulta. I believe it launched about a week ago. $33, 12 natural pink and red shades. They say it is a kiss-proof, transfer-proof, and waterproof liquid lipstick with 24 hours of weightless wear and a rich matte color. From the lip swatches, it doesn't look super incredibly opaque, which some people really like. It also looks like it has a matte finish. But we do need to talk about the BeautyCounter in the room. Okay, so BeautyCounter just launched at Ulta, and some people are really irritated by this because BeautyCounter is a multi-level marketing company. If you are not familiar with MLMs, they are very much disliked by a lot of people because they are seen as predatory. They convince people who maybe want to work from home to take care of their kids or, have their quote unquote own business, and people buy into it. They buy product and they either end up after all this time breaking even or end up losing money, and it's seen as predatory by a lot of people. I don't know BeautyCounter how predatory their practices are, but just overall in general, people really don't like the MLM structure because the people that end up winning really are the top people at the company and not the consultants that buy in, if that is explained correctly. I think it was. So BeautyCounter just launched at Ulta, and if it doesn't give you the icks like it gives me the icks, because it totally gives me the icks, there are a bunch of products over there. It's 31 different products altogether. 21 of them are skincare, 10 of them are makeup products. So yeah, that's a thing. Ew. Have you ever tried any BeautyCounter products? I'd be curious to know from somebody that's actually tried them if they're good. I won't be buying them though. I'm not a fan. Not a fan. Let us move on to the ColourPop Snow White collection. Launched last week or the week before at ColourPop, but now it's at Ulta. Full collection, $104. They have 2 lip bundles, $20 each, or the Super Shock blushes, individually $10. Eyeshadow palette is $22. Ere Perez launched 2 new products. There is an Aloe Gel Lash and Brow Mascara, $28. They say it can be used as a clear mascara, that it conditions lashes and brows, and it adds a layer of gloss and highlights natural lash color. It also can be used as a brow groomer for defined eyebrows. I know clear mascara is a thing. It's been a thing for a long time, but I have never been able to understand why. Maybe as a primer, but it's I maybe it's because I have I have fake lashes on, but naturally I have really wimpy lashes, so that's why I don't get it, but I'll get clear mascara. Never have. Never understood it. And then they have the corn setting powder, which is not the KORN corn, it's the CORN corn. Cause it's corn. No, I'm not doing it. Stop. ADHD brain just takes over sometimes. $39. Let's focus on this powder. $39. Invisible skin veil to visibly reduce shine and set makeup in place all day. And they do show it on a wide range of skin tones, but it is just available in one shade. So I'm imagining it must be transparent or whatever when you put it on. But yeah, so that's a thing. And finally, just a quick shout out to the Ulta Dual Tips Cotton Applicators. They stopped selling them on the website. Looks like they are back. Very excited about this. These things are freaking awesome. If you've never tried them before, they're $249. If you've never tried, there are other companies that make them like this, but these are really good. They're really good for cleaning up edges and fixing mistakes and stuff. Freaking fabulous. So happy to see those back. PR purchase product of the week. I didn't get anything new and notable in my life that I could share with you this week, so I'm just going to show you some things that I played with today on my face, some in PR and some purchase. This is what I used on my eyes. This is PR from ColourPop, the Not a Box of Chocolates palette. This was their Valentine's Day launch. I just kind of used a selection of these. I honestly don't remember what I use. They don't look all that different from each other, and it's easy to get lost and forget what you use because they really are not that different. But one thing I did do is I wanted to brighten up the inner corner, and I had so much fun with this last week. This is the Whimsical Nudes by Laura Lee. I have a feeling I'm going to be using this shade a lot. That's the brightness you see in my inner corner. It's just so freaking opaque, and it's lovely, and I love it so much, so I use that in my inner corner today. As far as my blush, this was part of my favorites and fails countdown for February. Yeah, February. My favorites and fails. February favorites and fails countdown. This is the Ulta Beauty Cheek Squad Cream Face Palette, and I use all 3 of these today. That is what you are seeing on my cheeks today. It's a very nice product. If you are my skin tone, it is
kind of error-proof in that you don't have to worry about going to clown face. It only builds to so much, and it's very easy to blend out, and lasting power is really good on this. And then I've been playing with this just a little bit more. This is by Pleasing and not Marco Rubio, because that's what I said last time and had to edit it out. The Marco Ribeiro Gloss Medium. And I use that for my lips again today. I use the Not a Box of Chocolates palette. I dip a little bit of this on my hand, and then I use this one as my lipstick. No, that's not true. I use this one right here as my lipstick shade today, and then topped it with a little bit of this more goldy brown shade there, just kind of in the middle a little bit. And one thing y'all were telling me in my favorites and fails when I talked about this, that you've been making lipsticks with a clear gloss and an eyeshadow for a long time, and me too. But one thing that I found that I do like a little bit more about this is that I feel like the texture and consistency of this particular gloss is better than the glosses that I currently have in my collection. I did play with some other glosses in the same format this week to see, like, really, do you need this? Honestly, you don't need this. You can just use a regular clear gloss. I just find that this is just a little bit easier to work with than the clear glosses that I currently have. But yeah, no, you don't really need it. But now that I do own it and I did buy it, I'm gonna use it because I'm having fun with it. Notable sales this week, quite a few actually. We have from Pure 20% off site-wide until February 28th. We have from ColourPop, the limited edition spring mystery box is now available for $49 until it sells out. 20% off site-wide at YSL, but you do need to sign up over there in order to get access to that. This one I was very surprised by. Item Beauty is 75% off on her website right now. That makes me so sad. I don't know anything about Addison Rae. I don't know anything about her, but the products I tried from Item Beauty, I really, really like. Their concealer is wonderful, and it's 75% off. So if you wanted to try anything from Item Beauty, it looks like they might be either rebranding or going out or something, because the whole site is 75% off. You're going to use code GET75 at checkout. It's on their website as well, if you forget what it is. Inky List is having a sale right now, 15% off site-wide, and then Bioderma up to 50% off select products plus 15% off site-wide using code SHOP15. And finally, my friend, our artist shout out of the week. Allow me to introduce you to Xiao Yuan. He is from China, and oh my goodness, just absolutely gorgeous. He's only 20. Can you believe it? He's only 20 years old. Let's talk about his first look. This one is called Rainbow Inspired. And really what I love about this is how diffused the rainbow is in the inner corner. And then it gets so strong and bold when it comes to that sharp wing on the outer corner. And also, I absolutely love the iridescent shine on his lid, and of course his highlight and the gemstone placement, absolutely beautiful. Second look, all he names this is dagger emojis. That's all it is dagger emojis. He said it's inspired by Isamaya Beauty, and I think Xiao Yuan's strength really with this, and with a lot of looks on his Instagram, is his use of sparkle in just all the right places with the right intensity. And I love how he plays up the inner corner of his eye, but just adds a touch on the cheeks, right? Love it, love it. The white brows, yes, nice touch there. Love that. Also, that brown lip just truly brings everything together. Love it. And of course, the negative space between the brows adds that perfect out-of-the-box, artsy kind of touch. And finally, he didn't really title this one, but wow. Oh my gosh. This one I picked because there isn't as much glitter, and I wanted you to see how he diffuses color and the talent he has with that. I love how the angles just aren't super sharp, especially around the eyes. I love that they're diffused, but not so diffused that you can't see what's happening. And of course, the ombre lip, absolutely to die for. So I just followed him over on Instagram as always. Instagram link for our artist of the week is linked down below. And that, my friend, was what's up in makeup this week. Thank you so much for watching. And of course, as always, thank you to the What's Up in Makeup Facebook hunters. Their names are scrolling below me. Thank you for all the time you took out of your day to submit things to the group to make sure I caught everything. All of the sales mentioned today were found by our hunters. So thank you so much to the hunters for all of your hard work. Much appreciated. Chat today is going to be at 10 a.m. Eastern time. Hopefully you will be able to join us live. I believe, at least for the first half, I do want to talk about Jaclyn Hill's latest video. video and kind of my opinions on it. I don't want to bash Jaclyn. I just want to give some gentle commentary on how I feel about how this whole thing is playing out. That's my intention going in, is just to kind of comment on the situation as a whole and not on Jaclyn personally. So if you're interested in that conversation, I would love to have you join us for live chat. Again, it's going to be at 10 a.m. Eastern time. If you're subscribed, it should just automatically show up for you in your subscription feed. If you're not subscribed, if you watch it live or on the replay, you just need to go to my channel page, click on my videos, and then click on the live streaming tab. That is where all my live streams are collected. They're all there for you to watch. Thank you again so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode of What's Up in Makeup. If you did, please hit the thumbs up button on your way out. But if you are not ready to go, and especially if you missed last week's episode of What's Up in Makeup, it should be right over here, right down at the bottom. YouTube's picking a video for you at the top. But if you do need to go because you got stuff to do, it's no problem. Thank you so much for hanging out as long as you did, and mad love to you, and I will see you in a video very soon. Bye!